We're back, and it is, as we're recording, this is kind of unbelievable to me. You and I had a text exchange last night that had some things that were not fit for public consumption, but basically, like, how is it July 1st? But it's
Time
July
is
1st.
moving yeah, time is moving incredibly fast this year.
This year has felt like alternately it's gone so fast, I don't know what's going on, but then there are some days that feel like dog years.
Mhm.
Is that how you feel?
I can agree. Yep.
Okay. I like to know that I'm not alone, basically. I
Yeah,
like
it's
to
like
know that whatever I'm struggling with, someone else is out there struggling with it too.
yes, equal parts moving faster than the speed of light, but equal parts dragging on in the hard parts, I guess?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, for sure. Well, we just wanted to put a little quickie together because it is officially the first day of the second half of the year. And you and I are both in the same we're in the same boat that we would like to acknowledge that the first part of 2026 has been a little rocky. Is that fair? I mean, we've kind of talked about it before.
Yeah, less than ideal.
Less than ideal. Such a nice way to put it.
Yeah, I'm trying to reframe it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And one of the things that we try to do here is I don't believe in sugarcoating things. I don't believe in toxic positivity. I believe in calling things how they are and I want to be honest. And the honesty here is, by the way, if you think that we're all doing things perfectly, we're not. And I've had kind of a tough 2026. Cabri's had kind of a tough 2026. And what you and I have said, kind of holding each other accountable is we're starting over, we're pretending it's kind of like a new year, the second half of the year is new, and we're, as the youths would say, locking in.
Yes. I also feel like so, yes, I'll get into second half of the year situation, but I also have to remind everyone too, if they are in the same boat in 20 this, the first half of 2026 has not been ideal. We're not doing brain surgery. We're not hurting people if we have to reschedule or if we have to cancel or if we don't meet all of our goals or if we didn't hit those revenue numbers or we didn't hire in the timeline we thought we were going to hire in. Like,
Yeah.
luckily, it's okay. It'll be fine. We're going to just continue pushing on. But that is a real soundtrack that I have to play in my head
Yeah.
constantly.
For sure. I feel like I have, and by the way, there's not data for this necessarily, but I feel like I'm letting people down, including myself. And I think you and I sometimes feel like, oh, we're letting each other down, but we're both kind of in the same boat of, hey, it's been a crazy year, and I'd rather just acknowledge that these things have happened. And like you said, we are not doing something that is so insane that the world is going to stop spinning on its axis. We have the ability to be like, you know what? Hasn't been great. We're going to do a little reboot and we're going to do better moving forward.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is a blanket apology to anyone who has been like, where's Melissa? How come she's not
Or
answering my email?
or
Where's
if you send
Cabri?
an email and it has not been responded to.
Yeah, listen, I legitimately, this is my public apology. I will privately apologize to you when I get it, but I have had, without going into details, I've had 1,000 roadblocks in my way this year. And my job is from here on out to try to break those roadblocks down, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and it'll be fine. And again, nobody is harmed in
Yes.
our procrastination or our roadblocks or our lack of attention or any of the above. So,
And it is also a reminder to everyone that there are seasons and there are seasons in your business where you can just say, I need a hot minute,
mhm.
and that is okay. And that's kind of where we are. So we just wanted to talk about what does the second half of the year look like? What should organizers be doing? If you're in the same boat as us, awesome. Let's chat about it. And if you are absolutely killing it, keep killing it. Because I do know some
Absolutely.
people that are killing it this year.
Absolutely. I am so proud of those people. They haven't let anything stand in their way, and I'm a little envious.
I mean, we know people in IO and in IO teams that are well on track to have, $500,000 plus years, and they are just absolutely killing it. One of my friends the other day had 5 different projects going on in the same day.
Cheers to normalizing that, and also cheers to, like,
Yeah.
making that a reality for other people to be led by example.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we also wanna say I know that's not every single person. So if you're out there going, well, I'm glad for that person, but I haven't had inquiries in a while. I haven't done anything. We're going to talk about that a little bit more too. So tell me a little bit about what are some of the things that you guys are doing at Minimize Then Organize for the balance of the year? What are some things that you're working on?
So I think I was actually working on this last night, and this is one of those things that I have to come in and update, but it's just goal setting. So I
Yeah.
have my yearly goals of January 1st rolls around, and I have expectations and things. This point, this middle of the year point, typically acts as some sort of like recalibration. So it's okay, love those goals that you set back in January, but it's not happening. And so it's like,
Right.
that's okay. We can still do better than we've done before. We don't have to go, crazy balls to the walls, what I was hoping for and planning for. But it just serves as like a let's reset. Let's see what the numbers actually tell us, where we've actually been. And I still like to push. So, like, for example, if the goal was $500,000 in revenue, great, fabulous. Well, right now, I think for minimize and organize, we're tracking closer to 310,000 this year. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so we can back up off that goal, but maybe we can hit 350. That'll still be more
Right.
than what we did last year. Our profitability will be up. I'm still happy with that. But this is gut check. January Cabri, she's very audacious and very big.
That's what I was wondering is do you look at January Capri and go, who is she?
I do. I do. She is me, but she is always very audacious, very vision minded, very big goals,
Yeah.
very big ideas. January or July Cabri is very like, okay, but let's be a little realistic of what's going to happen in the next 6 months.
Yeah. Where do you okay, 'cause you are very good at goal setting and you're good like, where do you balance the audacious like, the years ago, I read a book that talked about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals.
Mhm.
So they were like, "What's your BHAG?" So how do you measure between the audacious goal and then the realistic? Where does that go for you?
I don't. I always
Oh,
go, okay, so I always go for the big audacious goal with
yeah,
the intent of failing.
yeah.
Because even when I fail the big audacious goal, I almost always surpass previous expectations or
Oh, I
previous,
like that.
plateaus, thresholds, glass ceilings even. If there's a specific revenue number that we've just kind of sat at or a specific profit number that we've sat at, even with a big crazy goal, a lot of times I will pass that realistic piece, but maybe not reach the crazy audacious either. So
Sure.
it's a balance. And I also am like, I don't know, it doesn't work for some people, that specific type of goal setting, because it feels like failure. And so when you can
That's what I was
reframe
gonna
it, yeah,
yeah.
if you can reframe it into not a failure, just feedback, just trying again, it becomes easier and less, I don't know, less willing to just be deleted from your mind and move on, I guess.
Yeah. No, I like that because I do think that a lot of people, and I think especially organizers, because we tend to be, in the perfectionism category, or, we do want to attain those goals. And that if you set that out there, then if you quote fail, even if you don't make it by $10, let's say you said $500,000 and you're at 490,000, you'd be like, well, I didn't make it instead of celebrating that 490,000.
Yeah.
So, I like the idea of reframing is actually a word that I have been trying to use a lot more. I have been trying so hard in my own brain to reframe just the way that I look at things or think about things a lot. And by the way, this goes for even just normal things like how I'd normally go about my day. But I'm like, wait, instead of being upset about this, how can I reframe it? And how can I say this is an opportunity, not
Yeah.
a challenge? Like that has been something that I'm actively working on, but it's hard.
It is hard, and it helps, so setting goals for me is my North Star. So,
Yeah.
again, setting big, audacious goals helps me keep in track and in line of my goals and expectations, and so, again, if I'm failing, it's okay because the consistency and the habits needed to achieve that goal is still going to push farther.
Yeah.
So, one of the big goals right now is just, like, holding on to cash, navigating cash flow so well that I can
Yeah.
hold on to cash. It's not something that this is a vulnerability thing, but it's not something I do well, ever. It has never been one of those things for me. And so even if I fail, even if I do not make that number, even if I don't hold on to it for the amount of time that I think I have, like I'm still practicing that muscle and flexing that muscle on how to do it better in the future. I can live with that. I can
Yeah.
totally live with that.
No, I really like that. And I think that a lot of times too that, we talk about financial goals a lot because we want people to have thriving businesses, but I think especially with financial stuff, it's really easy to go, "La, I don't know. I don't know what my margin is. I don't know what my revenue is. I don't know what" you don't want to look at those numbers sometimes, and they're incredibly important.
Yeah,
But it's
absolutely.
also there are other things too that are important to look at, like, what are some other things that you're doing to drive your business forward? And a lot of those are intangible as well and have nothing to do with revenue, have nothing to do but do you have the right processes in place? How are your foundation? How are your business foundations? The number of times per week we're like, "When was the last time you wrote a blog?" Ooh, I don't know. Someone that we were talking to last night was just like, "Well, I haven't sent an email in forever." Guess who else hasn't sent an email in forever? Me. For Organizer Studio. I haven't sent an email in forever, right? I go, "Oh my gosh, yes, there are some of those things that if I held myself accountable, what could I be getting done?"
Yes. Yes.
So,
So, this is a new thing that I have not ever tried before, but I think last night kind of triggered it with our coaching call. I want to go through and schedule out posts every 3 days for Minimize and Organize and for Pro Organizer Studio, Organizer Me. I want to schedule everything out to where at
yes.
least we have one post every 3 days for the next quarter. If
Yeah,
I can dedicate that time, that is literally probably sitting in front of the TV, watching TV tonight or
yeah,
tomorrow night or whatever. It is a handful of hours of just monotonous, tedious. I don't have to have a lot of thought-provoking things. I can do it as I'm watching TV or as
yeah,
things are happening in the background, but it would literally just take a handful of hours and I would be done with it for the next 3 months. And I just need
yes,
that right now. I need that batching. I need that time back. I need to know that it's handled and it's not just lingering in my brain as a forever ongoing to do. And
yeah.
so that's going to happen this week, plain and simple.
Yes. Well, and I'm in the same boat of the what I have been trying to do to reset myself for this next 6 months is what are some of those things that I can batch and get off of my brain? Because I really think that part of my thing this year has been there are 80 billion things going on. I get extremely overwhelmed. You get into some sort of a functional freeze, and this is very common in everybody's business. There are a lot of things going on. We had a long talk last night about AI. What are all the AI things that I could be doing to leverage that tool to try to get some of these other things done, to get them off of my brain, to free that time up, to free that space up for the big things or the thinking or the things that could really help people. So
Yes.
I love that. Okay, in terms of second half of the year, so you just said you're going to be batching content. For you, what does that or for you and slash us, what does that look like? Google Business, Instagram, Facebook? Tell me what that the lay of the land is on that.
So I am using one up for everything.
Love it.
I tell everyone, I don't know why I am almost ashamed to admit that you told me about it for months. And I was like, oh, I don't need it. Oh, we've got a planner, we've got a scheduler. And
I
here I
got a
am.
thing.
I know the thing.
I got a
um,
thing.
It's my favorite thing, and they just released new updates that actually make it easier. And so for me, it is creating essentially, let's round out and say 10 pieces of content. They're probably going to be single photo, graphics, whatever. It's going to be posted Facebook, Instagram, Google Business, push to Pinterest. That is just my bare minimum of what I feel like needs to be done. If we want to go farther and, bigger and beyond when it comes to podcasts or reels, or we've got some software opportunities and some AI opportunities to chop up the podcast and be like,
Yeah.
here's the clip, here's a blurb, here's a whatever. And again, those can just rinse and repeat Facebook, Instagram, Google Business, Pinterest. But I just want some of the bare minimums done. And then I'm hopeful and optimistic that if I can get some of those nagging tasks out of my head and out of my brain, it will actually allow me some additional room to think and be creative and strategic for new other things that I haven't even had the brain power, the bandwidth, the capacity to explore. So,
Fully with you on that. And again, leverage the tools. So I am very much someone who I built my organizing business by the bootstraps. I really I'm a DIYer at heart, I like doing my own website, I like doing my own things, but there are times and the number of times that I hear from people like, "Oh, is it free?" No, it's not free. It's $12 a month. That's literally at this point one latte from Starbucks because everything at Starbucks is very expensive. But please use tools that are out there because what I see sometimes is people will go, "Oh, one up is $12 a month. I'm just going to do it on my own." And then they don't do it on their own. So
yeah.
I'm not trying to push I don't get anything from One Up. I just think that it's a tool that is so valuable that you are crazy not to be using it. By the way, it doesn't have to be One Up. It can be there are a ton of other tools, but please find a tool that will do the things for you. And $144 is an hour and a half of organizing. If you are priced correctly, which is another thing we're gonna
Oh,
start yelling
y'all
at.
aren't y'all aren't ready for it.
Ah, anyway, that's another podcast. Raise your prices, but that is a tiny amount of money for an immense amount of work, an immense amount of reach.
Yes.
So,
That's the biggest thing that I feel like people don't get is they're like, "Oh, I have to do this for Instagram, I have to do this for Facebook, I have to do something for Pinterest." I'm like, "No, you can definitely use the same piece of content, cross-contaminate it
oh my
over all of
gosh,
it,
yes.
and it will be fine." You can also go back and take content from 3 years ago and repost it, and I promise nobody's gonna call you out on it.
No, literally no one knows. Literally no one. So, I am cracking up just for a brief moment. You said cross-contaminate and you meant cross-pollinate, but I like cross-contaminate a lot better.
I use that all the time, and I
I
don't
really like it.
actually know the
Uh,
difference between the 2.
it's perfect. I love it. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, use the same piece of content. I have shouted this from the rooftops for years. Reuse content that already exists in your I if you look back through my Instagrams, other things, you will see the same things start to pop up. The statistics are that about 10% of your followers might see it. They're definitely not gonna remember because we all have the attention span of a mosquito. You could probably repost the same thing 2 weeks from now, and no one's gonna remember it.
Yeah.
So, go do it. Also, use AI to the extent that you're comfortable. Actually, to the extent that you're uncomfortable. I'm gonna change that phrase. Use AI to the extent that you're uncomfortable to try to do some of this work for you. So, give it some content and say, "Can you make this into 2 Instagram reels?" Blah, 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 a blog post, whatever. Please use those tools.
There's so many available at our disposal. Like
So
Canva
many.
Canva has AI. We have all these
Yes.
standalone chat platforms that we can use. It's just out there for the taking. There's probably more that I don't even know about. I just found out what
Oh, yeah.
Gamma was. I'm just
Oh, I
I'm
don't
not
know what Gamma is.
well, I'm not cool. It's like what the young kids are calling a slideshow. A Gamma deck is the thing, and I'm like, didn't know what it was, but it'll make content for me. Let's go.
You've taught me something new today. Never
Love,
heard of it.
love.
Never heard of it. We did have a long conversation last night on our coaching call about Claude specifically. I'm a Claude devotee. I have fully switched over from ChatGPT. Would really encourage you to give it a chance. This is another one. It's worth the $20 a month. Please go find those things in your budget. I guarantee that you can figure it out. I have 2 children in college, and I still happily pay Claude $20 a month to do all the things. So, just go and play around and start utilizing those things. We have resources. I will link them in the show notes. Cabri and I did a very exhaustive AI overview. We did a podcast, we did YouTube, we did all sorts of things that go through the basics. We will be updating those in the next few weeks too, because things change every 2 minutes. So we want to make sure everyone has the most updated information. But these are tools that are so, so, so easy to use.
Yep. I'm tying this back to goals because this is how my brain works and part of probably why I set these big, crazy, audacious goals. But I know I can't accomplish it on my own. When I
Yes.
set a big, crazy goal, and so it forces me to delegate or find the people or find the tools, find the resources I need. This is also that conversation. It's not just because, oh, hey, I just want to go use AI for all the things. It's like, no, I'm using AI to buy back my time and either reinvest it in the business to continue growing or so I can enjoy my family life. And that's, I mean, those are all valid excuses, but everybody that I think there's a little bit of mental chaos when it comes to, oh, I just have to use AI for everything. And no, use AI
Oh,
because your family's important and your marriage is important and not being burnout is also important and growing your business is also important. Those can all
yeah.
exist at the same time, but utilizing those tools is going to help make your life easier when it comes to balancing all of those things.
100%. And the other day, I'm just gonna give you the silliest example of how I used it the other day. So my older daughter older? Older, doesn't really matter, the one that's in Arizona. She has been asking me for, "Hey, is there anything I can do for Pro Organizer Studio to make a little extra money?" Yes, indeed, there are. So I gave her a bunch of jobs, things that were genuinely helpful, and then there was one that I was going to give her that I'm like, "Oh, this is going to take her hours, like, hours and hours." And not like she cares, but I was like, "Okay, this is gonna take her a really long time, and it's also taking her away from some other things that I think would be helpful for her to do." And long story short, it was just an extremely tedious task of going into all of our courses and saying exactly how many minutes of content are in there, which might seem crazy, but a lot of people want to know, like, how many hours of content are in there and what do you have and what do you offer? And so our software that we use for hosting our programs doesn't have that native. Like, you have to literally go into every single lesson and look at like how long the video is. Extremely tedious. I had this epiphany, I go, "Why don't I ask Claude to do this for me?" And Claude had it done. By the way, it took Claude a while. So if it
Yeah.
takes a supercomputer a long time to do it, imagine how long it would have taken a human. But that is not necessarily it's an important task. I would like to know how many hours of content we have in Inspired Organizer, but also Claude did it. I have an exact answer, and I would have probably had to pay Riley 10 hours worth of time to do that.
Yep.
So, it just some of those tedious things that are important, yet also tedious, get it off your plate.
Yep.
So, go use it, figure it out. So, what kind of other things are you thinking about for your organizing business? Let me just say globally, what do you think is happening kind of in the organizing industry and what kind of trends do we need to be thinking about?
Oof. I think this comes up on every single coaching call we do, but the conversation around move management.
Oh, yes.
It's a huge one. I know summertime it becomes more prevalent because it's typically when people move, but move management is not going away. I would recommend learning about it, offering it, even if
Yeah.
you can't go in and offer immediately, hey, here's white glove concierge moving services. You can say, hey, we'll come help you declutter before you move. And hey, we'll come help
Yeah.
you unpack and place stuff after your move. You can kind of
Yeah.
dip your toes into it. And so, move, that's a big one. Organizing in industry in general, I just think we are also a tool for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
so, being found, a lot of the things that we're working on is just the content, the Google Business posts, the writing blogs that are actually relevant to the day and age and the services that we offer. That's where a lot of our time is gonna be spent in the next 6 months.
So I want to talk about services just really quickly. And this is also going to be a longer podcast. But one of the things that is increasingly important in the age of AI, where I'm not even talking about using AI for your business, I'm talking about how other people are using AI to find your business. Becoming findable on all of these AI tools is increasingly absolutely critical for your business. And one of the key ways you have to do that is by talking very specifically about the services that you offer. We can't be broad anymore, and we need to be very specific. I want to work with you if you have ADHD. I want to work with you if your kids have ADHD. I want to work with you if XYZ. Literally discussing the specific instances in which someone could seek your services, not in a broad way, but in a very granular, down on the ground way, increasingly important to being found.
Yes. I think too, a good rule of thumb, if you have a service, you should probably have 3 to 5 blogs and different point of views around that specific service, and then for every single blog you have, that should be at least 10 pieces of content that's going out
Yeah.
into the interwebs in a variety of formats that, again, people can find you and you can create an audience from.
Yeah. So I wanna go back and echo what you said about moves. I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but honestly, I would really encourage you, if you do not offer any sort of move management, look into it because it is incredibly lucrative and it's a service that people really need.
Absolutely.
And trying to get them to declutter before they move as much as possible. So,
You know,
uh
I've almost gotten to the point where I'm like, "You know what? Just take it. I know it's gonna cost us more money and boxes and movers are gonna charge you more, but let's just take it because it's Something about seeing it in the setting. They're like, "Oh, well, maybe it'll fit at the new house." And I'm like, "It's not. I
It's
know.
not.
I have eyeballs. I know I do this for a living. It's not gonna fit, but I'll let you think that." And then
Sure.
they see it in the space and like, "Oh, it's a little dated," or, "Oh, it's not quite the same color, the same style," or, "I don't like it as much." I'm like, "Great. Let's just pull
Yeah.
that off for you right now."
Well, and you're bringing up a good point, which is no matter what a client wants to do in the moving process, whether they hire you to declutter before and then, I've had all of those different versions, declutter before, then pack, move it all and declutter afterward, whatever. The point is you are creating a life cycle of that customer that is way beyond just that minimal specific move.
Oh, yeah. And
You're creating a repeat.
once they recognize the stress that you take off of them by being the person who can handle all the questions, help them declutter, do all the things, whenever life gets out of hand, in 3 to 6 months, as it will, they're going to call you again and be like, "Okay, we're not
3 to
letting this
6 months,
time."
3 weeks.
Well, they're going to call and be like, "Oh, okay, closets are out of hand.
Yeah.
Kiddos have changed sizing again because they're growing like weeds. Like, I need your
Yes.
help again." And so that's that, lifetime value of the customer. Very important. Not something we talk about a ton, but
Yeah.
keeping people in your ecosystem and having referrals and retention in that, absolutely fabulous way to increase your profitability, lower your customer acquisition costs, add revenue, add profit, all of the above. So,
Yeah. Any huge business, like, any Fortune 500 business would tell you that every statistic is and there are different statistics, but it is infinitely more expensive to acquire a new customer and the work you have to do to acquire a new client, a new person versus someone that already exists, already knows, likes, trusts you. This is a thing that we preach from the mountaintops is go re-engage prior clients. If you haven't seen them in 3 months, if you haven't seen them in 6 months, if you haven't seen them in a year, if you haven't seen them in 2 years, I have been cleaning up all my photos and I went back to I have some photos from the early days of my business that I've been cleaning out, and I can still go, "Oh, that's Heidi's house. She lived in Hastings. We did blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, Eileen, I haven't thought about her in years." I bet I could call Eileen up and be like, "Oh my gosh, hey, girl, just wanted to reconnect. How you doing?" Make those things happen, and you're going to get those clients back. So, if you're not doing that, put it on top of your list.
I would also say that is a solid follow-up strategy that does not have to feel salesy and does not have to feel pressury, but you can literally just reach out to people and be like, "Hi, haven't talked to you in a while. How's
Yeah.
life? How are things going?"
How's the
And
new
they're gonna be
house?
like, yeah, they're gonna be like, "Great, marriage is fabulous. Business is going well. Kiddos are growing. They're in school. By the way, can you come organize my garage?"
Yeah.
It's
100
very
and again, it's not salesy. It's just reaching out to be like, "Hey, I just was thinking about you today. Just wanted to see how things are going. The team was at a house in your neighborhood recently or whatever." Don't make it super, super salesy. Just make it a connection. And we have people that utilize that strategy really well. And it's very effective.
very effective. It needs to be talked about more. We don't talk about it enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're kind of and we're telling you a bunch of things, but just in general, one of the things that I could tell you is really helpful to you with your business is and especially in summer, like some people are crazy busy right now, some people are a little slower because sometimes summer slows down. If you are in one of those slower periods, just go through and brainstorm some of these things. When was the last time I did an email? When was the last time I looked at my email list? When was the last time I updated my list to make sure that I had captured every client I've had in the last 2 years? Do some data cleanup. Think about how you can go target those people, whether it's from, a quick text, an email, something like that. Just think about your processes and then go think about, hey, what are some things I can do to go automate these? What are some things I haven't done in a while that I need to catch up on? I'm doing that for my own. I'm doing that at Pro Organizer Studio, and it's a good thing for organizers to do too.
If you could give, like, ideal metrics, what would you say those numbers are? Like, if you said in each month you should be doing it in this many times, what
Yeah.
do you have specific numbers for, like,
Yeah.
basics beginners of what that looks like?
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple of different thoughts. If you have not been a regular emailer, so let's just talk about email marketing. If you are one of those people that's, "Boy, can't even remember the last time I sent an email." You might wanna just think about, "I want to send 1 email this month." So the month of July. Today, you've got 30 days, has September, April, June, and November, all the rest of it. You have 31 days in the month of July. So during this month, I want you to send one email blast. And please do not do the thing of it's been forever since I've emailed you. Nope, just send the email. Do not make excuses. Don't talk about it. Just send the email. Then I want you to start a more regular cadence and say, what's realistic for you? 2 emails a month is more than plenty for a general organizing business. If you wanna just do 1 a month, that's great. I would honestly do I'm gonna say something crazy, 1 every 3 weeks. So it's not on a monthly cadence, it's more on a every 3-week cadence. That gets you to more than 1 a month on average and gives you a good look at your clients. If you are a regular emailer, if you are regularly doing 1 email a month to your list, knock it up to 2. Nothing can be wrong with it. Now, I'm also going to tell you that I'm just talking about a blanket email to your whole list. I also want you to at least once per month do some sort of look and say, when was the last time I talked to clients that I've had in the last month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever every business is going to be different. But if you have not re-engaged with clients whose projects you have finished, I want you to say to yourself and set a goal, what is my re-engagement strategy? Set up a system of in 1 month, I'm going to send this email. At 3 months, I'm going to put a calendar reminder to follow up with them on XYZ. In 6 months, I'm going to do something. In 9 months, and in 1 year. Set that strategy and then go abide by it. That's what I would say. What
It's
do you
perfect.
guys do?
I have not been consistent with email, and so I definitely wanna get back in the swing of that. We did do our donation drive, though, and so that sent out a lot of emails, but not quite in the same capacity, and so I like 1 to 2 emails a month. For us, anything more than that feels too much, like
I think more than 2 emails a month for organizers is too much.
yes. Yeah, no, I agree. So, getting back on the train with emails, I haven't updated our blogs recently, and so
Yeah,
there's a couple that we were talking about that tied directly very closely into the move management side of things. We also talked about last night having a resource, whether that is a page on your website or a blog of just like, here's where you can take things to donate. Even if those people don't ever hire you to work, you become a trusted resource. It's going to help your SEO. It's going to make
yes.
sure that all of the internet crawlers know that you're local because that's what you're promoting. And so we have one. It is probably 2 years old and needs to be updated. And so just little stuff like that. Like my goal is the basic foundations, a lot of Google business type content that will also just be pushed to social. And then regular cadence of emails, a more regular cadence of blogs. And I'm okay with that for right this minute. I don't know
Yeah,
if we'll
that's
go
plenty.
very much farther in our business than just that because we're doing a lot more things internally. And so those outwardly focused and outwardly pushing things, that's enough. It's sufficient.
Yeah, that's fine. And honestly, like, that's it. I'm not asking you to do 612,000 things.
Mhm.
I just want us all, including myself, to get back a little bit to the foundations.
Yeah.
And if you do that, if you set it up, that's what I would love for your July to be. So July, we're calling Foundations Month. How's that?
Love. Love. I love
We're
foundations.
gonna set some concrete. We're gonna set ourselves a nice little concrete pad to build up for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Fabulous. What are you excited about for the rest of the year?
Oh, I don't have anything specific that I'm excited about. I just feel I don't know. Like I have had a little bit of time to breathe and I have done some very heavy delegation. I've done some heavy optimization just to buy back some of my time. And I'm already feeling the creative juices and I'm already feeling like the energy and the I don't know. I'm just excited. And so I'm like, I'm ready to dish off some of this other stuff that I'm not good at or the things that I don't
Yeah,
enjoy doing so that I can focus on those fun things and the things that are I mean, we have I have said this a bajillion times. We have so much stuff banked for Pro Organizer Studio that there
yes.
has just literally not been time to focus on. And I'm like, it's needed resources and people will love it whenever it's available
Yeah,
to them. And so just resituating my time, my energy, getting excited about some of those things. I'm also a dreamer. Y'all know this. Big, hairy, audacious goals, dreaming. That's my thing. And so I just want a little bit more time to dream. and see.
Yeah.
I feel like I have good downloads whenever I give myself the bandwidth to do that, and so it's like, how can I squeeze that in? And maybe
Yeah.
walk. We may go to the pool sometime this week, just a couple hours here and there to, I don't know, feel
Enjoy
refreshed.
your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the conversations I've had with myself is I haven't really been enjoying my life, and I really wanna change that. And so that's one of the things, like, I wanna get re-energized about, work and all the things that I am excited about, but I also want to say downtime is important. I need to rest. I'm gonna dust off the funk and I really wanna do some things that are generally just enjoyable and have nothing to do with productivity,
Mhm.
efficiency, and I do not have to sit in front of my computer all the time. I can
Yep.
go for my life. So I want go for everyone.
Well, what's the point? What's the point of revenue and
Yeah,
profit and all the
yeah,
things we like, why are we growing businesses if we are burnt out and hate our lives and don't even get to enjoy them? Like,
yeah,
it's
and
not
I
it's not
yeah,
brain surgery. It's not.
I'm totally with you, and I was just in Japan recently, and one of the things that hit me just like a ton of bricks was you walk around, no matter where you are, people are so just joyful and happy. And I'm not saying everyone in Japan is living an people in Japan have stress, people in Japan have jobs, people in Japan have kids, but everyone just generally is so much more joyful about how they approach things. And I just keep telling myself, I need to bring some of that magic into my life.
Mhm.
And I would like to be living like that more for myself and to try to inspire other people. So that's
Yeah.
my hope for the rest of the year. Just a little
Yeah,
more joy.
no. I love it. I think it's perfect.
So, all right. Well, this is your little let's go July. Second half of the year. We're ready to go. I'm ready. I'm seriously excited and ready to go.
I am too. It's gonna be a good second half of the year.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. Nice to see you as always.
Of course.
We'll
No,
talk
like you
soon.
don't get to see me all the time.
I get to see you all the time, which I'm very lucky. All right.